Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed by the opinions and expectations of others? Do you want to gain control over your emotions and live a more peaceful, fulfilling life? In this video, we'll be exploring the ancient philosophy of Stoicism and the 5 things you should never speak to anyone, according to its teachings. Lesson 1. Financial information. Personal and sensitive details about money is a big deal. The suggestion not to talk about it comes from the philosophy's main ideas of wisdom, self-control, and not caring about things we can't change. Socrates says that money is a preferred indifferent. For this reason, having money can be helpful and make you feel better, but money itself is neither good nor bad. How we use and think about wealth is what really counts. Stoicism tells us to value virtue and knowledge over money, and to know that our worth is not based on how much money we have. When people talk about money, it can cause a lot of problems. For example, it can lead to similarities that aren't necessary. In a culture where money is often seen as a sign of success and happiness, comparing ourselves to others based on their money can make us feel inadequate, envious, and unhappy. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient, for he that is so wants nothing." Stoicism tells us to live in the present, be happy with what we have, and seek inner peace and happiness instead of wealth and approval from other people. Talking about money can also lead to bad use of information. Financial information can be used to trick, take advantage of, or commit scam if it gets into the wrong hands. To protect our privacy and financial safety, it's smart not to talk about these things in a relaxed way. Stoicism also stresses how important it is to be disciplined and in control of your own life, especially when it comes to money. Talking about money can make people make hasty choices, like spending money they don't need to or investing in risky things they don't fully understand, in order to impress others or get to the same financial level as them. The Greeks said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Stoicism tells us to be thrifty, live within our means, and think about what we need instead of what we want. We can learn self-control, discipline, and how to be happy and thankful by doing this. Stoicism tells us to accept what we can't change and focus on what we can. When it comes to money, we have power over how we feel about it, how much we spend and save, and how hard we work to make a living. We can't change the economy, the job market, or other outside forces that can affect our wealth, though. He wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Stoicism tells us to pay attention to our own thoughts, feelings, and actions instead of the things that happen to us or how much money we have. No matter how much money we have, this can help us become strong, at peace with ourselves, and happy. The idea behind Stoicism's advice not to talk about money comes from the philosophy's main ideas of knowledge, self-control, and not caring about things we can't change. By learning and following these principles, we can improve our relationships, protect our privacy and finances, and find inner peace and happiness, no matter how much money we have. Lesson 2. Relationship issues. Relationships are like complex tapestries that are sewn together with feelings, experiences, and hopes. They are very personal and only happen to the people concerned. Stoicism, which stresses self-control, knowledge, and resilience, can help you figure out how to handle difficult relationship problems. According to the Stoic theory, there are several reasons why you shouldn't talk about relationship problems with other people. These kinds of talks can cause confusion. What works in one relationship might not work in another. When we talk about problems in our relationships, we run the risk of having our feelings twisted or judged by how other people see or experience them. Talking about problems in a relationship can lead to rumors and extraneous meddling. Trust, respect, and honest talk are what make relationships strong. When we let other people in on our relationship problems, we run the risk of breaking trust and damaging the openness and respect that are necessary for a good relationship. These kinds of conversations can keep us from taking responsibility for our actions and feelings. Stoicism tells us that we can't change what other people do or say, but we can change how we react and respond. When we talk about our relationship problems with other people, we might look for approval or help instead of focusing on how we react and respond. How does Stoicism tell us to deal with problems in our relationships? Stoics believe that thinking about yourself and reflecting on it can help you. They tell us not to look for answers or approval from other people, but to look inside ourselves, understand our feelings, and think about what we did and how we reacted. If you want to know what really counts, listen to what Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said. By paying attention to how we feel and respond, we can own up to our part in the relationship problems and work on getting better. If you want to talk to a Stoic, you should be open and honest. In a calm, polite, and helpful way, they tell us to talk about our problems directly with the person involved. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "Be kind to others, but strict with yourself." When it comes to relationships, this means being patient and understanding with our partner, while also being honest and strong about how we feel and what we need. Stoics think that having a different point of view is important. They tell us to look at our relationship problems with a bigger, more objective lens so that we can see the bigger picture and know how our choices and actions will affect things in the long run. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "We are more often scared than hurt, and our imaginations hurt us more than the real world." We can keep our imaginations from making things worse than they are and causing needless fear and stress by keeping a balanced and realistic view. Stoicism can help you understand and deal with problems in your relationships, focusing on what we can control, our feelings, actions, and reactions, and building wisdom, resilience, and self-control are some of the ways we can handle relationship problems with kindness and honesty. Every problem and every connection is a journey that can help you grow and understand others better. Marcus Aurelius said, "What stops people from acting moves them to act. What gets in the way turns into the way." Let's see our relationship problems as steps towards love, respect, and becoming better people. Lesson 3. Family drama. Family problems will always be a part of life. It can cause worry, disagreements, and emotional problems. Stoicism, which stresses self-control, knowledge, and toughness, can help you figure out how to deal with family problems. Stoicism says that we should accept that we can't control what other people do or say. We are the only ones who can control how we feel and respond. Epictetus once said, "People are not upset by things, but by how they think about them." This means that it's not the family drama itself that bothers us, but how we think about and respond to it. With this knowledge, we can try to stay cool and collected when our family is having a fight. This doesn't mean we should be emotionless or not care about anything. It really means we shouldn't let our feelings run our lives. Our response to the problem should be logical, well thought out, and helpful. Stoicism also teaches us how to understand and care about other people. Misunderstandings, poor communication, and differing points of view often lead to family problems. We can show empathy, kindness, and patience by trying to see things from the other person's point of view. This might help end the argument and keep it from getting worse. Premeditatio malorum is another Stoic theory that can help you deal with family problems. This means thinking about and picturing possible problems and challenges ahead of time so that we are emotionally and mentally ready to handle them. When family problems come up, this idea can help us deal with them better. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to the here and now. Stress in the family can make us think about the past or worry about the future. In turn, this can make you angry, anxious, and hopeless. We can deal with the present moment and keep our minds from being filled with bad thoughts if we pay attention to it. Stoicism tells us to get stronger and more resilient inside. Problems in the family can test our beliefs and character. It can push us to be honest, brave, and smart in what we do. We can grow and develop as people by facing these problems and working hard to get through them. Family drama is a tricky subject that needs to be treated with care and respect. There are many ideas and practices in Stoicism that can help us deal with family problems in a healthy and helpful way. Recognizing that we can't control other people, staying calm, practicing empathy and understanding, thinking ahead about possible problems, focusing on the present, and building up our inner strength and resilience can help us get through tricky family situations and come out stronger and smarter. Lesson 4. Unrealistic goals. Stoicism's lessons about how important it is to be self-aware, think logically, and be emotionally strong lead it to say that people shouldn't share goals that are too high. This idea is very important to our personal growth and well-being, so let's learn more about it. A lot of the time, our wants and fears drive us to set goals that aren't realistic, not a fair assessment of our skills and situation. They can be caused by wanting to be liked, being afraid of failing, or having the wrong idea that we can't be hurt. Sharing these kinds of goals with other people can have a number of bad effects. We may feel too much pressure and stress because we think we need to live up to the standards we have set. Also, when we fail to reach our goals, it can make us feel let down and disappointed. Being vulnerable to ridicule and criticism can make us feel even worse about our own self-worth and ability to handle our feelings. Stoicism helps you set goals in a more reasonable and realistic way. We should set goals based on a clear picture of our strengths and flaws and a sensible evaluation of the chances and problems we face in our surroundings. Seneca's tip: set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" Is a strong warning to face our fears and false beliefs and set goals based on facts, not fiction. Focusing on the process instead of the result is what Stoicism says we should do. We should not worry too much about the end result, but rather about the steps we need to take to get there. This method not only makes the job less scary, but it also helps us build the skills and habits we'll need to be successful in the long run. The dichotomy of control by Epictetus tells us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, attitudes, and actions, and accept what we can't, outside events and other people's actions. This is a very useful idea for making goals. This helps us set goals that we can actually reach and stay calm when things go wrong or problems arise. Stoicism stresses how important it is to be quiet. In a world with more and more noise and distractions, it's helpful to be able to be quiet, reflect, and think before we talk. Silence is the peace of the mind, said Marcus Aurelius. By not telling other people about our ridiculous goals, we not only keep ourselves from getting extra stress and criticism, but we also learn to be still, think clearly, and reflect. Stoicism's advice not to talk about goals that are too high is a powerful reminder to set goals that are based in reality, to focus on the process, and to make silence and thought a regular habit. This is a call to set goals in a way that is more balanced, realistic, and strong, based on self-awareness, logical thought, and emotional strength. Lesson 5. Gifts of kindness. Acts of kindness, or gifts of kindness, are important for living a full and worthwhile life. They show that we care about others, want to make the world a better place, and are compassionate. Stoicism, on the other hand, tells us to do these things quietly, without looking for praise or attention. The idea behind Stoicism is that virtue is the best thing that can happen. The Stoics said that virtue is not about approval from others or material gain, but about living in line with reason and nature. It's about getting stronger, smarter, and more honest inside. The Stoics think that when we do good things, we should do them because they are good in and of themselves, not because we want praise or attention. This is because validation from other people is temporary and unreliable, and it can pull us away from the good road. Epictetus wrote in his Discourses, "Never call yourself a philosopher, and don't talk a lot about theorems with people who don't know much about them. Instead, follow them." This agrees with what the Stoics said about doing nice things. We shouldn't talk about our good acts. Instead, we should work on putting them into action and becoming like them. Talking about the nice things we've done can make us feel proud and vain. It can make us feel better than other people, which goes against the Stoic view that all people are fundamentally equal. It can also make us reliant on other people's approval and praise, which is a weak and unstable way to boost our self-esteem. Doing kind things quietly and without expecting anything in return can have huge benefits. It can make you more humble, thankful, and motivated to help others. Also, knowing that we have made the world a better place can give us a feeling of inner fulfillment and satisfaction. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't waste time going back and forth about what a good man should be. Be one." This is what the Stoics meant when they talked about being kind. It's time to stop talking about what we should do and start doing it. We should try to be good, to show virtue in what we say, do, and think. The Stoics' suggestion that we shouldn't talk about the nice things we do is deep and useful. It helps us remember that the worth of our good deeds is not in the praise or attention we might get, but in the good things we do for others and the self-improvement we experience. It tells us to focus on being good, on being virtue, instead of just talking about it. Therefore, let us try to be kind in a quiet way, with thanks and humility. Let's think about how we can make the world a better place instead of how much praise or attention we might get. And let us remember the wise words of the Stoics, who tell us that being good isn't about getting approval from other people. It's about growing and being happy inside.